right, we are rolling back at it again. I Yesterday was the first day that I started the little series of pods by myself, and we touched on Jason Whitlock, and I like how the show went. Edited it up and just going over it a couple times, man. I liked how it went, so we back again to double down, man. We got a different topic today, but I'm just getting off work. Got a little bit of time before the wife and kids get home, so I wanted to come back to the people, man, and just vent again. But work went well. The day wasn't too bad. I wasn't too far from the yard, so I got home safe. Everything got delivered okay, so that's a blessing. But as far as today's topic, I want to talk about privileged kids and coming from a privileged background. So what gave me the idea to talk about this was a few weeks ago. Boss Man D-Lo, who's a rapper, came to Milwaukee and he performed at the rave. And shout out to Boss Man D-Lo. I listen to some of his music. Everything ain't for me, but in terms of production and just his sound, I can definitely rock out to some of his stuff. But I think with him, and this is my opinion, but I feel like bro talking to a certain group of people. And I feel like, and this might be controversial, but it's on my mind. I feel like when you come from a certain background and you make an effort to be around certain things, when you know you didn't come from that place, I have a problem with that. And I look out in the crowd and I see some of the people who in the concert, and I'm like, really? What you doing at the Boss Man concert? At Boss Man concert, bro? Like that was just my honest opinion. Like what you know about bro? What you doing at the concert? Like why? You come from a certain background. Like what you know about the music? Like does this even appeal to you? And that was just my honest first thought when I looked at the front row, and it just looked like young kids that probably come from a privileged background. A lot of white kids, some black kids, but I just looked at them like, "What you doing here?" Like, if your parents knew you was here, what would they say? And this is just me stereotyping. I don't know, but that was my mindset, and it made me think of like a bigger conversation of kids who come from certain backgrounds, of parents who work hard to get to a certain spot in life and provide for their kids. And sometimes the kids take that for granted or feel as though in order to be validated by their peers, they got to act as though they tough or they from the hood or they familiar with certain stuff that goes on. Now, I'm going to say this too, and I definitely have to explain myself when I talk about this topic, because if I don't, certain stuff could get taken out of context, and then I look crazy. Just because you from the hood or you from an area that's not affluent, that doesn't mean that you should go do bad stuff. Bad stuff is for you. You should be listening to this. You should be doing this. No. No matter where you come from, you should always embrace positivity, reading, being good in school, cleaning up the community, no matter where you come from. So I want to just make that clear. Even some rap that's out today, it shouldn't, no matter where you come from, you shouldn't listen to it, because that's not bringing out positivity. It's not preaching a message of love. It's not putting something positive into the thoughts and minds of the people who listening to it. So no matter where you come from, that shouldn't be something I'm saying, oh, well, you come from the hood, you should be listening to that. Like, nah. But I will say this, but if you come from a certain background and you know better, you have an example in the house of what success looks like. You have parents that love you, that bust their ass, to have you living in Mequon, Brookfield, wherever, Whitefish Bay, and you taking that for granted and you doing dumb shit, excuse my language, but that's just me being real. You doing dumb stuff and basically fumbling the bag of what your parents trying to do for you. I have little sympathy for you. That's just me being as real as it is. I have little sympathy for you if you don't understand the sacrifices in the position your parents and your people worked hard to put you in. Me, myself, for an example, I didn't grow up in the hood, but I also didn't grow up in the suburbs. I grew up in an area that was, you could either go one way or you could go the other. But I had a father in the home. I had a mom in the home who tried to create an atmosphere for my sisters and I to thrive. They was honest. They had us in church. They was accountable with us doing our work in school. We couldn't dress a certain way. We couldn't talk a certain way. Like, they was honest and tried to do everything in their power for us to succeed. And when we went out on the block, and the way my neighborhood was set up, so it was odd. So I stayed on 33rd and Thurston, which is right off Silver Spring. In that little block from 33rd, I would say like to 35th, 36th. That's as far as I went. And in those blocks, the neighborhood was it was safe. Now, you still have some sketchiness going on, but for the most part, from 35th to 33rd and Thurston, off Silver Spring, that little area was safe. And there was an alley in the neighborhood that I would walk down, and I would go on the other side of the alley to play ball, because that's where the majority of the kids were, on that side of the block. So that's where I hung out. I was the type of kid, man, I just wanted to hoop. Like, I loved basketball, and I was when I first came out on the block, that's what I was known for. So that's all I wanted to do, hoop and maybe mess with the little girls if I seen them. But I never wanted to sell drugs. I never wanted to be in no gang. I never wanted to be no robber. I never wanted to do any of that. Did I know people who was involved in that? Yeah. But I know I also had a dad at home who would whoop my ass if he found out I was involved with any of that. Now, like I said, 33rd and 35th, that area was a good zone. But where I stayed, right behind my house, was the projects. And then right on 33rd, another part of 33rd off Titonia, projects was right there. So the little area I said that was safe was surrounded by, like, you know, you could was surrounded by areas that wasn't that area. And there was a lot of stuff going on in them areas, but I never had a desire to be over there. Like, if you went on the other side of Silver Spring towards Smith Park and Villard, in them areas, that was the hood. It was it was active. I'm gonna just say that. But I never had any just like want to be over there. I never wanted to do none of that because I never saw that at home. My parents put me in position to think right. They put God in my life to the point where I made the decision to accept God on my own. And they did well by me. And as I got older, I wasn't the perfect teenager. I did a lot of dumb stuff, but it was certain stuff in certain areas I knew not to be, because I didn't come from that. I didn't want to pretend like I was that. That just was not me. So, just speaking from personal experience, I never tried to be a gangster. I didn't listen to certain stuff. Like, I listened to rap music, but I knew certain stuff wasn't for me. Like, I never was a big weed smoker. I probably smoked weed a handful of times. And the last time I did it, which would be another video, I damn near lost my life. So I never messed with that ever again. But I had a sense of worth, self-worth, and to know, like, I had a sense of value for myself. And that started with my parents. And then to see kids who come from similar or better backgrounds in terms of finances than I did, and try to be gangster. They try to, I don't know, keep up with an image. They try to be hood. I don't know. You just look dumb. You look stupid. And if you act like that and something ends up happening to you where you get arrested, I'll never wish death on anybody, but you get robbed. You experience real things that go on in the hood. I don't feel sorry for you. I feel less sorry for you than the people who gotta be in them circumstances. Because any real one who that'll tell you that's from them environments, they'll tell you the goal is to make it out the hood. The goal is to make it out and be able to come back and clean up the hood and have a positive impact on your neighborhood. It ain't nothing cool about being poor, being broke, thinking that the only option is to sell dope, breaking into houses, pimping. Ain't nothing cool about that shit. And the one thing, like, that's what my one gripe with rap today, like, it pushes all of that goofy stuff that a real one from the block or from the hood to tell you, man, like, man, whoever really pushing that ain't from this spot, because they know firsthand that ain't it. I wouldn't be here if I had a choice. I would not be here on this block right now. I would have stayed in school, or I'd be somewhere on some positive stuff. But this all I got. I didn't, so to see kids who squander opportunities because they trying to be cool, man, them the ones I pray God does something to get them to realize, like, man, you are blessed. You got parents who love you, who worked hard to get you in a position to where you can keep pushing this thing forward. And that's what I'm trying to do with my kids. Like, we live in a nice area in Milwaukee County. And I'm trying to give everything to my daughters that my parents gave to me and some. Trying to be there for them, show them right from wrong, introduce them to God, give them self-worth so they know they are somebody. And it doesn't take me to tell them that. Show them what a good example of what a man is. My wife showing them a good example of what a woman is. All that. I would be hurt if my daughters, when they was 15, 16, I caught them in the hood smoking weed or messing with a dumbass ninja because they trying to be cool. Or they skipping school to drink or smoke weed or just be in areas that they know they shouldn't be in, but they trying to fit in. I would feel like I failed as a parent and I didn't do what I was supposed to do. So I'm going to definitely give my kids enough self-worth to know that I matter and I am somebody. And I don't need to push that to feel validated as a person and as a black person too. I'm going to talk about that. There's so many dope things about the black culture in America, but it's too many cases of people feeling like they got to be from the hood to feel validated. Feel validated. It's nothing wrong with coming from the suburbs and making it and coming back to the community and doing something for the community. It's nothing wrong with that. It's nothing wrong with having doors open for you. You're supposed to have that. You're supposed to take advantage. Like, I never felt ashamed as a black man to have my dad around. Like, dudes thought I grew up in the suburbs because my dad was running. I'd be like, nah, my dad just worked hard and he can be around. That ain't nothing to be ashamed of. I never felt ashamed that my parents was married. Like, nah, man, my parents doing it the right way. And one day, when I get of age, I want to do it the same way. So, yeah, man, it irked me to see kids not taking advantage of, like, situations they in because they don't realize how blessed they are. Like, I was watching a documentary 2 days ago about a girl who was she was a troubled youth, but her parents had money. And money doesn't mean that, it doesn't solve everything. So I'm not gonna say that. But it looked like her parents did what they needed to do to give her the tools to succeed. And when she got of age in high school, drinking, smoking, skipping school, got into some trouble, and they eventually sent her to boarding school. And it just like, why? Why? It's kids today who would die to have those opportunities, die to have both parents in the home, and to just feel loved and to eat a hot, warm dinner and to sit at a dinner table. It's kids who would die to have that, and to see kids not appreciate that. And don't get me wrong, it's stuff that I didn't appreciate as a kid that I look back on now and say, yeah, that was messed up. I definitely should have told my parents thank you in the moment. But now as an adult, I know and realize that, and want to do better and right by my kids to show them the way. But man, like in terms of how that can be fixed, I don't know, man. That's a tough one. Of course, the cliche answer is the right answer, but man, God has to come back and be put in these households. Like, that's true for sure. God, in a sense of spirituality, Jesus Christ has to be the force behind these households and these families, of course. But I think it's going to take, first of all, I think it's going to take parents communicating with their kids and talking with their kids, and getting to know why, like, why are you doing this? Because it could be deeper issues. Like, I'm not going to put it all on the kids. Like I said, money and resources alone isn't going to mean that a kid is going to do well. Like, it takes parents being involved. So I think, parent involvement, definitely. And just having real, not yelling at your kids, but just having real conversations with your kids to see where their head is at. And then I think just empowering them and having kids take pride in who they are, their last name, where they come from. And another thing I would say is kids knowing it, having an understanding of what their parents do. Like my daughter who's 2, she know I'm a truck driver. She know I work long days. So like, I know she 2, but like, she understand like, daddy had a long day today. My wife is teaching her to say thank you when I go to the store and get groceries. Thank you for getting food for the house, daddy. Like, just this past week, I had to buy her like new clothes because she got bigger. My wife is teaching her to tell me, daddy, thank you for buying me new clothes. Like, that's where it start. That's where it start. And I don't know, man. Like, so I said, since it's God, Jesus Christ being in the home, conversations to kids, and then empowering kids and getting them to know their identity, their true self, where they come from. And then I would just say, man, just putting the dog in kids for them to want to do good themselves. Like, at a young age, if a parent inspires a kid, you can be somebody one day. Your parents did it. You can be better than us. But bad behavior, abusing drugs, hanging out with the wrong people ain't going to do it. That's not going to set you up for nothing but jail or death. But doing these things can take you somewhere. Using our resources and talking to us to try to open some doors for you will help. That's nothing to be ashamed of. So I think in that, man, putting the battery in your kids' back, inspiring them will help. But it just gets to me seeing these privileged kids who basically got everything they need, take that for granted and fumble the bag. Have babies earlier, addiction, become criminals, and they lived in the mansion all their life. Had 2 parents there who was involved, did everything they could. And because they wanted to feel validation from the streets, from social media, they fumbled the bag. To America, I'm going to say, enough, man. Enough is enough. To those kids, do not be ashamed because you have a leg up. It's kids that wish they were where you are, and take advantage. Because when you get up, you're going to be thankful that your parents put you in that opportunity. Didn't have you struggling. Gave you something to eat at night. Made sure you had a nice bed to sleep in. Made sure you lived in a neighborhood that was safe. Gave you a ride to school every day. It's some kids whose parents can't even take them to school. They either got to walk or they got to get on the city bus or the school bus. Parents don't even have a car. So even that is a blessing in itself. But man, realize that, my parents went the extra mile for me. Now it's up to me now to take that and go do something with it. And that's what I'm trying to do for my kids. And I hope my kids can keep the thing going. So I had to get that off my chest, man. Again, the title of the show is called Cut Talk Privilege. And that's something I had to speak on, man. I love my parents and I'm thankful for all the sacrifices and discipline and love and nurturing that they gave to me. And I'm going to take that and put that into my kids. So shout out to Robert Pace. Shout out to Karen Burks Pace, my grandparents, my aunts, my godparents, people, coaches, people in the neighborhood who made sure like he gonna do something. So shout out to y'all. That was my little session event. Now I gotta go make dinner. Tomorrow I'm gonna be back with another one, man. I'm really enjoying this format of just coming down here by myself and just getting these shows done. So salute to y'all, man. Check this out. Tap in with me. It's Cut Talk 525 Podcast. Check out the haircut videos I do too. I have those posted because I try to get busy with the Clippers, man. Now a show on that is coming soon too. But I love y'all and y'all take care.